Chapter 42. Hwan receives Mrs. Calma's forgiveness. Mrs. Calma was shocked to know that Hwan was still alive. She couldn't think of better words to express her feelings at that moment. Hwan instead, knelt before her, asking for her forgiveness. It was a practice for Koreans to kneel when asking for forgiveness. In tears, he apologized for what his mother had done, leaving her and Mari uncertain. Thus, he explained, "I have been unconscious for 9 months, ma'am, and when I woke up, it was Mari that I asked for, looking for her. Wanting to know her condition, my mother told me that it had been 9 months since I was unconscious and that she brought me home to Korea, thinking that I was dying. She wanted me to die peacefully in Korea, where my dad and relatives were present to mourn for me. I thought it had only been days that I was confined and the 9 months I was in a hospital bed. I felt so frustrated because I did not know what had happened to Mari anymore. I was depressed, feeling I had no more chance to see Mari because my mom told me that Mari could have died because she was almost on the brink of death when my mom left her in the hospital, and after that, she never knew what had happened to her. After learning both of our conditions, I felt so guilty because here I was alive, and if Mari was dead, how could I forgive myself? It was I who caused her to die. I didn't want to go on anymore. But then, I decided to help myself get healed. It had been a challenging year for me, going to therapies and simultaneously carrying the burden of guilt, leaving Mari in the cold. But I had to undergo treatment for her, so that if Mari had died, at least I could visit her grave and ask her forgiveness and your forgiveness, ma'am." Mrs. Calma felt Hwan Chul's sincerity and helped him to get up. Hwan Chul, still with a bowed head, repeatedly apologizes to Mrs. Calma. "Now that you're here, I want you to hear what I have been keeping to say. When your mom carried you out of the hospital, I was so furious that I cursed your mom for being uncaring and irresponsible. I hated and swore you to the heavens because you were the cause of my daughter's misfortune. If ever you were alive and returned here, I shall never tell you about Mari, if she was dead, or wherever she is now if she was alive. But feeling your sincerity and the burden you were carrying in your heart, I thought you deserved a second chance. Mari is alive. She had been unconscious for 6 months and had her therapies for 4 months, but the sad part of her coming alive was that she lost a piece of her memory. Mari didn't know why and couldn't recall why she was confined, what accident she got involved in, and Mari couldn't remember who Hwan was in her life. After her recovery, she became a loner. Mari didn't want to see Nancy and any of her friends. They were strangers to her. She was not the same girl she was before, bubbly, energetic, and friendly. Mari couldn't work well with others, so Mari never stayed in one job. She became temperamental, and her mood swings were alarming. Mari had been this way for months. But during her continuous psychological therapy sessions with Dr. Chua, she slowly returned to her normal self. Still, Mari lost her memory of you and the accident. That part of her life was lacking, but I didn't mind. I felt relieved because she won't be going through that pain of losing you. After all, I didn't even know if you were still alive, and I don't want her to get hurt and feel the pain of loss and grief. Mari didn't deserve that." Hwan couldn't say more. Then, Mrs. Calma asked Hwan frankly, "If Mari were still alive today, would you pursue her to come back to you as her boyfriend? Or would you let go of her if you found out that she was very much in love with her present boyfriend?" "Ma'am, I don't understand why you ask these." Hwan felt cautious. "My daughter is seeing someone now, and they were both in love. I wouldn't mind if her current boyfriend married her someday because I like the man, and they were a good match," Mrs. Calma said outrightly. Hwan was hurt knowing how he was well accepted by the mother. Then he spoke. "I understand how you feel about me at this time, ma'am. I know Mari is still at a loss because a piece of hers is still missing. I would want her to regain that missing piece because, if ever she remained that way until her married life, there will come a time that she will find me in her memory and felt still in love with me. A part of Mari would want me in her life, but it's too late for her. How do you think she would be during her married life? Would she be happy, or having regrets, depressed?" Mrs. Calma looked Hwan straight in the eyes and spoke. "What are you proposing, Hwan Chul? It seemed you want to tell me something I should know. I already met Mari, or Riel, ma'am. That's why I am here to ask your forgiveness and let you know I am helping her return to her senses. We worked in the same company, I being the VP for marketing. Riel is the CEO's executive assistant, and Mr. Han Hyunaki, our CEO, is her fiancé. I want to fix the damage I have done by helping Mari regain her memory. If she recovered and realized that she didn't want me to be a part of her life again, I would accept her decision. All I wanted for her was to find me in her memory and return the missing pieces to make her whole again." Mrs. Calma was surprised and didn't know that Riel was slowly recovering. How did you know that Riel had amnesia in the first place? Hwan didn't know either, and nor did Riel. It was Nancy who told Mr. Han about her condition. It was an accident that they met, and to make the story short, Nancy and Riel were back again as friends. In fact, she was about to be a godmother to Nancy's newborn baby girl, and all this time, you were with Riel? Mrs. Calma curiously asked. As friends, ma'am. We had a few times being together, especially when Hwan was in Korea for a business deal with an American group. She was recalling things, piece by piece, but sad to say, she still couldn't link me with those pieces of her memory, but we're good as friends, ma'am. Mrs. Calma smiled, somehow pleased, but frowned when she thought about Riel. Oh, my dear Riel, why was she not telling us about her sudden discovery of amnesia? She could be suffering silently, and maybe she didn't want me to worry. Poor thing. Mrs. Calma was upset, thinking Riel might be disappointed in her for keeping it hidden. Anyway, I appreciate for letting me know about all these, and if you feel you can help Riel, then do so. But please, take it slow. Let Riel gradually find each piece of her memories so it will be clear for her. Chul smiled gratefully, then bowed his head and said his leave. Chul was in good disposition after his conversation with Mrs. Calma. He was much in a lighter mood when he arrived at the office. He peeped inside Rieler's office, and the two secretaries noticed him. Is there something you need to say to Miss Riel, Sir Chul? She was at the CEO's office, sir, Louis said. Oh, nothing important. I only want to see Riel. She was an inspiration, you know. Chul winked with a smile and left. The two girls giggled and made a high five. Later in the afternoon, Chul went to Rieler's office again and walked straight to her desk. How about taking a coffee break, Riel? I still need to have my lunch, because I came in late and was met with a pile of documents to review and approve, that I forgot to take my lunch. Care to accompany me for a break? Riel glanced at him with a smile while Chul waited for her sweet reply. Well, all right. Wait here. Riel went to Hwan's office and told him about her leave for a coffee break. Hwan looked thoughtfully at the paper he was reading, but held her hand tightly and said, Bring me some pastries and an Irish coffee. Hwan looked into her eyes and said, Gamao, saranghiayo, babe, Riel replied. Nado saranghi. Chul and Riel were happily conversing until Chul talked about their activities every Christmas season during their college days. You know what began, Chul? During this Christmas season, our friends and we were bringing together stuff that was of no use anymore, and then we sold them at the park of the university, and then we used the money we collected as donations to the orphanage and for the home for the aged. Remember? Riel became excited and said, Oh yes, I remember that. Your stuff was the good ones quickly sold out, like your cap, not so worn rubber shoes, shirts, and more because you were so popular that anything you wore, your fans bought it. Chul looked at Riel, observing her happy reaction. That was fun. And there was this instance when some guys were rummaging our stuff that one guy raised a bra, that all the guys got so interested that it came to name the price to the highest bidder. Chul cut in laughing. Yeah, they thought it was yours. That this guy bought it for $500. We learned that he had a big crush on you. As far as I remember, it was Mina. I think she accidentally put them in the box when rushing to put them together. Both chuckled, having so many fun memories. Then Chul was surprised. You remembered them, Mari? You remembered them? Chul got excited. He held Rieler's hands while Riel was nodding and giggling. Oh, that was nice and fun, Mari. You're slowly recalling things now, and I'm so happy. Good job, Mari. Chul felt lighthearted because Mrs. Calma forgave him for his past mistake that got Mari into a near-death fatal accident. Chul became even happier when Mari recalled a part of their Christmas season activities. If this continues, will Chul take Mari back as his former girlfriend? Keep following me on my YouTube channel and TikTok. Take advantage of more exciting episodes in the Windows of the Heart series.